Part 16. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 151. Lu Wanting didn't speak, she just tilted her head and looked at Wang Feng quietly, with tenderness in her eyes, silently telling Wang Feng her attachment to him. Ting ting. I can only promise you one thing. No matter what happens, I will try my best to survive, because I still have you, and I will come back to protect you, and I will build our base into this world. We will go to the safest base so that the people living here can return to the life before the end of the world and fulfill our dreams. I can't die before realizing all of this. Looking at Lu Wanting, Wang Feng spoke seriously. There was no oath of love or sweet words, but Lu Wanting's eyes were blurred. She could feel that Wang Feng's words were sincere, and she also knew that he would try his best to do all this. I'm waiting for you. Lu Wanting came to the opposite side of Wang Feng and whispered these three words. Then she closed her eyes and put her delicate lips on her lips. I don't know how long it took, but when Wang Feng woke up from the intoxicated state and raised his head, he suddenly found that the other 7 hurricanes had quietly parked next to the one Lu Wanting drove over, and all the people were sitting there, watching them as if watching a show on the roof of the car. Seeing their playful and smiling faces, Wang Feng was furious. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen it? When Lu Wanting saw so many people, she couldn't help but feel ashamed. She buried her head in Wang Feng's arms and refused to come out. Doomsday jumped out of the car gently, walked over in 3 steps, and said as he walked, of course I haven't seen it. At least I haven't seen it much since entering the apocalypse. How did you get to this point? Tisk 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 tisk. Doomsday shook his head regretfully and said with some sadness, crazy. I didn't mean you. You said we are now. Time is tight and the task is heavy. You actually still have time to cultivate a relationship? How can you have that free time? Once the relationship is confirmed, hurry up and get to the point, get it done. Then hurry up and do your work. Hey. But it's my fault too. I haven't arranged a room for you, so be it. This time when I go back, I will give you the room next to the coach, so you don't have to hold it back all the time and take advantage of this little time to, right. Liza, Wang Feng stared at Doomsday. Gritting his teeth, he said, the instructor said that I can choose my own personnel to conduct Hell Week training with me. I suddenly felt. Before Wang Feng finished speaking, Doomsday's expression suddenly changed. Oh shit. I forgot all about it. I have to go back quickly. The instructor asked me to take medicine. After saying that, he ran into the hurricane without looking back and started. The car drove out of the cave, as if tens of thousands of mutated zombies were chasing him. Wang Feng, Lu Wanting, Lu Feng and everyone present were collectively petrified. Unexpectedly, Doomsday, who had always behaved maturely and calmly, and was gentle and elegant, would burst out with foul language and run away like a frightened rabbit without caring about his image. Lu Feng slowly walked up to Wang Feng and swallowed, you idiot. Madman. What kind of subject are you doing in Hell Week? How did you scare Lazy Eye like this? Want to know? No problem. Wang Feng looked at Lu Feng and replied cheerfully, I'll talk to the instructor later and I'll just take you with me. Holy shit. Don't. I have something else to do. Let's go first. Upon hearing this, Lu Feng refused without thinking. There must be a reason to scare Doomsday like that, and he didn't want to involve himself in it. Turn around, get in the car directly, and like Doomsday, drive out of the cave and drive towards the base. They didn't even say hello before leaving. When Chen Tianhao and the others saw them, they smartly returned to their cars and left one after another. Ting ting. You should follow them too. It's dangerous to go back alone. Wang Feng sent Lu Wanting back to the hurricane armor, and at the same time stuffed an evolution potion into her hand. Go back and find an opportunity to drink it. Remember to sleep for about a week to 10 days. The sooner the better. There are instructors in the base now, so there should be no danger. Lu Wanting looked at Wang Feng, nodded gently in agreement, then came up and kissed him gently on the lips, then smiled before getting into the car and closing the door. Looking at the hurricane leaving, Wang Feng sighed softly, then looked at the killing 3 young men beside him, and said with a wry smile, "Okay. They are gone. Our suffering is coming." The Hell Week that Li Yingning arranged for Wang Feng was not a week, but a month. And it was Wang Feng he who killed 3, 4, and 3 others. The first stage lasts for a week. Wang Feng needs to lead killing around the Black Dragon Mountain on this side, killing all the mutant beasts and mutant plants he sees. And during this process, he also had to protect the safety of Xiaomi San Xiao. As for Xiaomi San Xiao, they didn't just follow Wang Feng. They had to bear weight from the beginning of Hell Week, and during there can be no interruption within this week. According to the instructor, Xiaomi San Xiao was still too young and his body bones were not fully developed. He could not use the strengthening potion originally. However, because Wang Feng did not know about it at the time, he directly gave each of the 3 little boys a bottle of strengthening potion. However, Xiaomi San Xiao could withstand all the ferocious life energy in the strengthening potion and successfully became strengtheners. For 3 8-year-old children, this was simply a miracle. The instructor said that if children under the age of 13 use strengthening potions, they are most likely to be unable to withstand the large amount of life energy injected into the potion and die. Even if they do not die, they will become seriously ill and will be unable to do so from now on. Grow taller, let alone become a strengthener. And none of the 3 little ones of Xiaolumi had any accidents, and all of them successfully became enhancers. This should be impossible. Even if they had eaten the flesh and blood of mutant beasts before using the enhancement potion, it was unlikely. This strange situation made the instructors very interested in the 3 little ones of Xiaolumi. Li Yingning, who had always been indifferent to everything, personally checked the bones of the 3 little ones for the first time and asked them many questions. Finally, he carefully considered and made a detailed training plan for the 3 little ones, and told Wang Feng that he must follow the plan meticulously. It seems that if Li Yingning had not just agreed yesterday to start accepting the reorganization of the Guardian Corps and the subsequent training today, he might have led the team to train these 3 little guys personally. Wang Feng ran inside, found 3 tactical backpacks, filled them with food and water, and then took them out. Although he also brought some food in his space, the 3 little ones had to carry weight anyway, so he simply used them as waste. Before coming out, Wang Feng had carefully cleaned up his space. He originally thought that the instructor didn't like him using bows and arrows, so he had thought about removing some of the arrows from his storage. Later, when the instructor was evaluating his battle with the octopus, he asked him, "Since the octopus has a limited attack range, why don't you stay away from it? No matter how many tentacles it has, a few waves of arrow rain will be enough for it." Wang Feng was a little depressed at the time. It's not that he didn't think of using bows and arrows at the time, but he didn't dare to use them in front of the instructor when he thought of the instructor's first evaluation of his bows and arrows as hunting stuff. Unexpectedly, he was scolded by the instructor for this. So this time, Wang Feng still brought a lot of arrows in his apocalypse space, but not much food. Anyway, he was just wandering around this mountain, and the meat of mutant beasts was still delicious when roasted. If it didn't work, he could just go to this base for supplies. Unfortunately, most of the war reserves in this base are hot weapons, and cold weapons are daggers and bayonets, as well as machetes and the like. There is no crossbow or bow, not to mention arrows, not even one can be found. Fill the 3 backpacks, weigh them, run outside to get a few stones and stuff them in, so that the weight of each backpack reaches about 100 kilograms, and then let the 3 children carry them on their backs. Although 200 kilograms is not very heavy for the enhancer, even the 3 children can carry it easily, but don't forget that this training is an uninterrupted Hell Week. In other words, after carrying this backpack on your back, you can't take it off for less than a week, and during this week, except for pooping and peeing, the 3 children can't stop for a moment. Even eating and drinking must be done during exercise. Even when Wang Feng is fighting with mutant beasts, they can't stand aside and watch, but have to run around the battlefield, and Wang Feng has to protect their safety during the battle. Oh, that's right. They still have a period of time to rest every day. Li Yingning told Wang Feng that they would be given a strengthening potion every day, and they would all be synthesized with the life energy of the power-type biochemical beast. After an adult uses a strengthening potion, the body will not be able to absorb it if it is used again, and Tiankai has never synthesized a second-level strengthening potion. This is why there are so many first-level strengtheners in the Guardian Corps, but very few second-level strengtheners, not to mention third-level strengtheners. Wang Feng asked Tiankai about this question, and Tiankai's answer was that the strengthener is just a transition, not even a second-level creature. There is no need to waste time at this stage of the strengthener, and no matter what level of strengthener, using an evolution potion can become an evolver. Tiankai means that if ordinary people cannot use evolution potions, it will not synthesize strengthening potions at all, but directly evolve potions, but ordinary people cannot withstand the huge life energy of evolution potions, and basically lose their lives directly in the process of body transformation. So Tiankai now has the function of synthesizing strengthening potions. Since the 3 children's physiques are so special, the strengthening potion may still have an effect on their bodies. The 3 children's current physiques are all agility strengtheners. If they are given strengthening potions continuously, then when they become evolvers, although they will not become stronger, they are likely to have the same physique as the instructor, that is, dual attributes of strength and agility. This is the real purpose of the devil instructor Li Yingning. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 152. Wang Feng couldn't help laughing when he saw the tactical backpacks on San Xiao's back that were almost as tall as them, but he still led them out of the reserve base. After closing the door, Wang Feng looked at San Xiao and asked helplessly, "Are you sure you want to participate in this Hell Week? Once you start, you can't quit." San Xiao didn't answer, but told Wang Feng his answer with practical actions. They started running around Wang Feng. When Li Yingning told the training plan, he said it in front of San Xiao. This was intentional by Li Yingning. He just wanted to see if San Xiao would back down after knowing the details of the training. The result satisfied Li Yingning. He even looked at San Xiao with admiration and nodded. Although he didn't praise him with words, this was a devil instructor. Even Wang Feng and Duan Lei had never been looked at by Li Yingning in this way. Because when the 3 children heard the details of the training, they didn't show any expression at all, and their faces didn't change, as if they were not the ones who were about to receive the training. Wang Feng secretly complained that the expressions of the 3 little guys, Shalumi, were sometimes very similar to the instructors, without any expression. Could they be Li Yingning's illegitimate children? Seeing that the 3 children had already started training by themselves, Wang Feng simply ignored them and started running in a direction. He was very curious now and wanted to know how many days these 3 little guys could last. For ordinary people, let alone running with weights, even if they didn't sleep for 7 consecutive days, it would probably be a huge torture, not to mention that these 3 children were only 24 years old in total. Moreover, Wang Feng had just experienced Hell Week some time ago and experienced that feeling personally. To be honest, he didn't think that the 3 little guys could completely persist. He was now curious about how many days these 3 little guys could last. Because there was no instructor to lead the way this time, Wang Feng only found 2 mutant beasts on the first day, one level 3 and one level 2. After the training of Hell Week, as long as the mutant beasts on land are not level 4 or above, Wang Feng can kill them. Of course, this is with the cooperation of Apocalypse. Wang Feng found that Apocalypse's summoning skill is simply a miracle. In the last Hell Week, there were countless mutant beasts who rushed to attack Wang Feng because they saw his weapon flying out of his hand, and then they died under the sudden appearance of Apocalypse. Especially high-level mutant beasts are most easily deceived by this tactic, because the higher the level of mutant beasts, the smarter they are, and the more they can sense where their threats come from. When they saw Apocalypse flying out of his hand and Wang Feng was unarmed, they almost all chose to attack with all their strength. From this, it can be seen that the saying "no matter how cunning the fox is, it can't beat the old hunter" is absolutely true. Animals are animals, and animals with wisdom are still animals. In terms of intelligence, they are never a match for humans. At night, Wang Feng, following the instructor's instructions, used the life energy of a mutant bear to synthesize 3 strengthening potions for the 3 little ones and asked them to drink them. Unexpectedly, after the 3 little guys finished drinking, they just sat quietly for 5 minutes and then started running again. Wang Feng looked at the 3 little ones who were strict with him, and he didn't know whether to cry or laugh, but at least he began to admire the 3 little ones of Shalumi. At such a young age, they were so mature in mind and their willpower was not bad at all. In particular, when Wang Feng took out 4 bottles of energy drinks from Wang Mi's backpack, the little guy didn't even need Wang Feng to say anything, but took the initiative to pick up 2 stones on the ground and throw them into his backpack to make up for the weight lost by the loss of the drinks. Wang Feng saw it, but didn't say anything. He just wanted to know what these 3 little guys could do this time. Because there was no rest, the night was still hunting time. Although the instructor did not make any rules for Wang Feng in the first stage, because the first stage of training was mainly for the 3 little ones, Wang Feng couldn't sleep alone and let the 3 little guys run around him, right? That would be too embarrassing. Besides, he had experienced Hell Week before. Although he had less than 2 nights of rest after experiencing Hell Week, he was still a 2nd level evolver, and his physique was far superior to that of ordinary people. Wang Feng was lucky this night and actually found 4 mutant beasts. Maybe it was because the habits of these mutant beasts hiding during the day and coming out at night had not changed, or maybe Wang Feng blatantly attracted them by walking around the mountain with a flashlight. In short, this night was a great harvest for Wang Feng. Although Wang Feng was slightly injured when dealing with the mutant beasts, they were all flesh wounds. Under Tiankai's treatment, he soon recovered. When the day dawned, Wang Feng looked at the 3 little ones of Shalumi and found that their expressions had not changed. He even did not find any trace of fatigue on the 3 little faces. Wang Feng was secretly surprised, but he still took them to go deeper, because he knew that the training subject of the 2nd stage was to kill the mutant beasts in this mountain alone, so the more he killed in the 1st stage, the easier it would be for him in the 2nd stage. Because the instructor meant to let him kill as many mutant beasts as possible in the Black Dragon Mountain, Wang Feng divided the Black Dragon Mountain into 2 parts from the reserve base, intending to clean up half in the 1st stage and the other half in the 2nd stage, so that he could complete the task to the maximum extent. When Wang Feng took the 3 children to stay in the mountains for the 4th day, Wang Feng began to feel a little uneasy. Although the faces of the 3 children had a look of exhaustion, and although their movements were no longer as flexible as the previous few days, but the perseverance in their eyes has not diminished at all. 3 serious little faces, 3 thin bodies, and 3 huge backpacks formed a strange scenery. These days, Sang Xiao has hardly said a word. Of course, except for Wang Mi, Wang Feng has never heard other Liang Xiao talk to each other, except when they first asked their names when they met, they answered. Outside. These 3 little guys are very special. They don't feel like children at all, and they don't look like an 8-year-old child at all. Speaking of which, these 3 little guys look a bit like Li Yingning. They are taciturn and expressionless. Wang Feng thought about it and found that these three little guys seemed to be even more silent than the instructors. At least no one else in the base had heard of Wang Feng. Sha and Wang Lu talked. It is now the fourth day, and more than half of Hell Week has passed. The three little guys are still able to persevere. Wang Feng simply lets them go. Now he has begun to look forward to it. Perhaps, this killing of three little guys can you really complete this seemingly impossible Hell Week training? On the night of the sixth day, Wang Feng finally determined the answer. Although there was still one day left, looking at the state of Shami, Wang Feng knew that they would definitely be able to persevere on the last day, and the backpacks on the three little guys now it is no longer the original weight. As the strengthening potion was used on them every day, these three little guys seemed to be able to absorb it, because every day they seemed to feel that the backpack was lighter than the previous day, so these three more serious little guys would put some stones every day added to your backpack. Wang Feng once lifted Wang Sha's backpack. According to his feel, the weight of this backpack should be close to 200 kilograms, which is 400 kilograms. Wang Feng took a breath. 400 kilograms, for an adult first-level enhancer, might be difficult for him to carry, not to mention that these three children have been carrying it for 6 days now. The total time spent defecating and peeing and drinking strengthening potions every day will never exceed 15 minutes. The rest of the time is spent in constant exercise. Are the nerves of these three children ironclad? Seeing that it was already the sixth day, Wang Feng was ready to return. Although it took 6 days to arrive, there was no need to search for mutant beasts or fight when he returned. If he went with all his strength, there would be no problem in terms of time. But looking at the situation of the three little guys, it is estimated that the word full speed needs to be discounted. Wang Feng is not an instructor. The instructor never cares about his physical strength when taking him through Hell Week, but Wang Feng felt that he might not be as cruel as the instructor. After deciding to walk back, Wang Feng looked at the three little guys, and for some reason, Wang Feng suddenly felt that he saw his own shadow in these three little guys. When he was training, he had a look on his face. He also had this stubborn and resolute expression. Although he was exhausted, his eyes were still so persistent. Wang Feng's heart moved, and he remembered what the instructor once said. Human. Only at the moment of life and death can you break through your limits. Training. It's like a battlefield. If you can't stand it on the training field, then you'd better not step into the battlefield, because no matter how cruel the training is, you still have a lot of abilities. The factor of predictability, and on the battlefield, the only thing you can predict is death, either the enemy or yourself. Because Li Yingning seldom spoke when training them, and even when he spoke, it was very brief, with only a few words. Only the sentence was the longest sentence he said, and more than once, so basically every trainee able to remember. Thinking of this, Wang Feng's eyes changed, and he decided not to be waterproof anymore, because the instructor said that those who can't stand it on the training field had better not step into the battlefield, and in this apocalyptic world, the whole world, it's all a battlefield. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 153. On the way back, Wang Feng did not deliberately slow down. Of course, he could not go at full speed because he was an evolver and Sang Xiao was an enhancer. If he went at full speed, Sang Xiao would not be able to catch up even if he carried nothing. Him. Wang Feng controlled the speed to the limit of a first-level enhancer and flew towards the reserve base. The three little ones gritted their teeth and followed behind, their three determined little faces covered with dust and sweat. Although the third child has not participated in the battle in these 6 days, their image now looks even more embarrassed than Wang Feng. Because they are in the mountains, they are jumping up and down all the way. The third child's clothes have already it was worn to pieces by rocks. The sweat on their bodies mixed with the soil, mixed with the blood oozing from the wounds, plus the dead branches and leaves stuck to their bodies, it was like a set of camouflage clothes on these three little guys. Wang Feng bets that Sang Xiao's current image doesn't need to be modified in any way. He just lies down on the ground and becomes a perfect disguise. Even the most experienced scouts can't detect them unless they get close to a certain distance. When Wang Feng returned to the reserve base with Sang Xiao, it was already the early morning of the 8th day. After entering the base, Sang Xiao finally took off the tactical backpack that he had been carrying for a week, but he did not immediately. They collapsed to the ground, but stood side by side in front of Wang Feng. Looking at the three thin bodies standing straight in front of him and the three young yet determined little faces, Wang Feng sighed and said with approval, "You are not bad. When I was your age, I didn't have any. You have such a strong will." That's right. What Wang Feng admires is the willpower of the third child. Wang Feng has experienced this kind of extreme training countless times. Of course he knows the secret of it. A week of non-sleep and continuous running with heavy loads is definitely not enough for ordinary people, but for strengtheners, it is not impossible to persevere, especially the three little ones who continue to receive strengthening fluids to strengthen their bodies. Therefore, although this hell week will squeeze the physical strength of the three little ones to the limit and approach the edge of collapse, the test of their willpower is the end of this hell week. Because when you feel that you can't hold on, when you tell yourself that I can't do it anymore, your body will also receive your psychological cues and relax, making you really unable to continue. But if you keep telling yourself that you can do it, you will definitely be able to do it. Your originally weak body will regain a little strength to help you continue to persevere. This is the potential of the human body. Those white-collar workers before the end of the world often envied those soldiers who could carry heavy loads for 5 kilometers cross-country. They thought they were very powerful. If it were them, they would be out of breath after running 2 steps. In fact, they don't know that if they were asked to wear the same load and then let out a pack of wolves to chase him, most of them would be able to complete the 5-kilometer cross-country trip with load. They say thieves run fast because they will be beaten if they are caught. If there is a beast chasing them, they can run even faster. How fast, how far, and how long a person can run depends to a large extent on what is chasing him. If you replace the beautiful woman chasing you with a murderer with a face full of flesh, when the time comes, your speed will complete a qualitative leap in an instant. Wang Feng took out 3 evolution potions and handed them to Xiaomi-san. These 3 little guys also already knew the subjects of their training. The first stage was physical training, using long-term weight-bearing running and the assistance of strengthening liquid. To complete the strengthening of their bodies, so that their body strength reaches a standard that can accept the transformation of evolutionary agents. In fact, Wang Feng couldn't understand this standard, and even Tiankai couldn't explain it clearly, but the instructor was very sure that as long as the first stage was completed, the evolution potion could be used on the 3rd primary school. Regarding the instructor's confidence, Wang Feng naturally would not to question. These 3 evolution potions were also personally selected by the instructor, and they all used the life energy of a mutant beast, lynx. When Wang Feng entered the mountain, the first thing the instructor took him to kill was a level 2 lynx. Later, the instructor personally killed a level 3 lynx. In the following Hell Week, Wang Feng also killed 5 or 6 lynxes, some of which were level 3 and level 2. These 3 evolutionary potions were synthesized using the mutated life energy of 3 lynxes that had reached the 3rd level biological standard. Wang Feng also added the source of life into them. As for what kind of special effects the 3 little ones can get after using them, yes, it depends on their luck. After the 3rd child took the evolution potion, he turned around silently, found a random place to lie down, and drank the evolution potion together. This is their 2nd stage, evolution. The instructor's prediction for their evolution time is about 10 days, and Wang Feng wants to take advantage of this time to continue cleaning up the mutant beasts on this side of Black Dragon Mountain. Seeing that the three children had entered the evolutionary process, Wang Feng threw out all the mutated beast corpses in the apocalypse space, cleared the apocalypse space, then turned around and walked out of the reserve base. After closing the door, Wang Feng stretched out his arms. After stretching, a smile appeared on his face, and he said softly, "Next, it's time to play freely." In the previous week, because he had to worry about the third child, Wang Feng did not let go of his speed. He always used the speed of the enhancer. Now he was the only one, so naturally he no longer had to hold back. Take out a tactical backpack from the apocalypse space, put it on your shoulder, clip the straps on your chest, and after firmly fixing the backpack on your back, Wang Feng flashed and rushed into the forest at a high speed. In the past week, Wang Feng did not kill many mutant beasts. One reason was that he was not familiar with the distribution of mutant beasts in this mountainous area. Unlike the instructor, he seemed to know the location of every mutant beast and never missed. Another big reason was that San Xiao slowed him down. Now alone, Wang Feng really started his own hell week. Although there was no instructor around, Wang Feng still did not slack off. Not only did he not find an opportunity to rest for a day to relieve the fatigue of a week of sleepless nights, but he took the initiative to start weight training. He planned to carry the 600-pound backpack behind him until San Xiao completed his evolution. This is a military combat backpack. If it is replaced with a normal one, it may not last for a day and will break. The counterweight inside is also a special counterweight block found in the base. If it is filled with stones, the whole backpack will not weigh more than 600 kilograms. Wang Feng's figure quickly crossed the mountains and forests. Now he is not very worried about the attack of mutant plants. One reason is that in the previous week, Wang Feng did not encounter mutant plants that could threaten him, and the other is because of apocalypse. For mutant plants, this kind of life form, it seems that apocalypse is just their nemesis, because these mutant plants have almost no fatal weaknesses, unlike those mutant beasts and zombies, attacking their heads or hearts can kill them. The life energy of mutant plants is distributed in their bodies. There may be a concentrated point, but no one can find this location, not even Apocalypse. But Apocalypse does not need to find it. As long as he enters its trunk, Apocalypse can continuously absorb its life energy until it is completely absorbed. With the great weapon of Apocalypse, Wang Feng does not need to worry about being trapped even if he is suddenly attacked by mutant plants, because Apocalypse will let the mutant plant that attacks him know its mistakes. Unless he encounters a mutant plant like the small pine cultivated by the instructor, which attacks Wang Feng with a large amount of pine needles and kills him instantly, and there is no time to use Apocalypse, Wang Feng may die here. However, after this period of time, Wang Feng has understood that mutant plants are not so easy to produce, or, it should be said that powerful mutant plants are not so easy to appear. Now the two trees that Wang Feng encountered, the willow tree was because it happened to be in the zombie tide when it attacked, and swallowed many zombie corpses, which completed the mutation, and the small pine tree, not to mention, was treated better than the willow tree, and was directly fed with the flesh and blood of mutant beasts by the instructor, which caused the mutation. In this mountain, zombies are not visible at all. Even if there are a few, they have already become food for mutant beasts, and mutant beasts are not so easy to be captured by plants. Therefore, the number of trees and other herbs in this mountain is very large. However, there are probably not many plants that can evolve to threaten Wang Feng. Wang Feng naturally does not want to be as cautious as he was when he first entered the mountain, wasting time for mutant plants that may not exist. Just as Wang Feng was diligently running in the Black Dragon Mountain, looking for mutant beasts everywhere, an embarrassed figure rushed into the sea from the shore at the seaside of Jianguan town. It was a relatively slender figure, with long hair scattered randomly, and her originally pretty face was full of fierceness. Her clothes were torn, revealing the white skin underneath. Behind her, there was a turtle about the size of a tank. This turtle was also covered with wounds at this time, and many pine needles were densely inserted on its carapace. When the turtle swam into the sea, the woman jumped onto its back and used her feet to randomly sweep the pine needles on its back, but was suddenly pricked by a pine needle. The woman's pretty face tightened, showing a trace of pain, which then disappeared, replaced by a kind of almost crazy hatred. She looked in the direction of Jianguan town, gnashing her teeth and saying word by word. Wang Feng. You wait for me. The day when I come back here again will be the day when you and your base will perish. You won't be proud for too long. The turtle carried the woman, drifting on the sea, slowly heading towards the depths of the sea, gradually moving farther and farther, until it disappeared into the sea level. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 154. Bang, a strong bear man stood up, staggered twice and then fell to the ground. There was a dagger stuck in its eye, up to the hilt. It was Tiankai. As the bear fell down, Wang Feng's slightly tired figure was revealed. He looked down at the bear's body, his eyes shining with excitement. Just now, when he was killing this bear, he finally found a sense of the instructor taking action. This bear was a mutant beast that had reached the 3rd level biological standard and had dual attributes of strength and defense. Wang Feng was dealing with it just now. Only one move was used. Moreover, Wang Feng was not a sneak attack. After the bear discovered him as the intruder and rushed towards him angrily, Wang Feng faced him head-on. At the moment of contact with the bear, he turned sideways to avoid the bear's claws, but ignored the bear's claws. A huge bloody mouth with fangs exposed. The moment the bear's fangs came into contact with Wang Feng's neck, Wang Feng's apocalypse had already inserted into the bear's right eye, draining the bear's strength instantly and giving it no chance to close its teeth that could easily bite Wang Feng. The huge mouth of the neck. At this moment, Wang Feng finally understood why the instructor's battle seemed so simple and effective. Every time he watched the instructor fight, he almost always killed with one stick, simple and violent. In the apocalypse, the first time Wang Feng saw the instructor taking action was against the lynx, a level 3 creature. When the instructor's stick hit the lynx's head, the lynx's claws almost touched the instructor. On the forehead, the distance is only 1 centimeter at most. If caught by the lynx's claws, the instructor's head will undoubtedly explode and die like those survivors who died under his stick, but the instructor has no intention of evading, because he knows that before this lynx catches him, he will kill the lynx first. This is because the instructor not only has the dual attributes of strength and speed, but the most important thing is the instructor's keen observation, judgment, and strong self-confidence, and of course, his iron will. The same was true for the octopus that the instructor killed. He dared to use his own body as a weapon to penetrate the octopus's body and kill it, ignoring the octopus's terrifying giant tentacles. This was because the instructor had identified this octopus before taking action. The end of the octopus. Now Wang Feng has not reached that level yet. This kind of combat experience cannot be taught by others. It is the true meaning that can only be understood after countless battles and a little bit of luck. Wang Feng seemed to have entered that state just now. He knew that he could kill the bear before it caught him, so he could ignore its attack. It has now been 9 days since Sang Xiao drank the evolution potion. Wang Feng originally planned to kill the bear and then rush back to the reserve base, because after Sang Xiao completed the evolution, there would be the next 3rd stage of training. But now, Wang Feng is not ready to go back. He has just caught a bit of that very mysterious feeling. Next, of course, he must strike while the iron is hot to avoid losing this feeling again, because this state is one that can be encountered but cannot be sought. After Apocalypse absorbed the life energy, Wang Feng immediately put away the bear's body, and then rushed into the mountain like lightning. Now Wang Feng didn't want Liang Fei to take a moment, and before the feeling left, he had to find the next one as soon as possible. A goal. It was Wang Feng's good luck. In just 20 minutes, he found a mutant beast again. This was a wolf, only a second-level creature. But now Wang Feng is not picky about food, as long as he has just mutant beasts. Wang Feng's main purpose now is to continue that feeling. As long as that feeling is still there is not much difference between second-level creatures and third-level creatures. This is even true for fourth-level creatures. As long as they have not reached fifth-level creatures and have not crossed that huge gap. With a small gap, Wang Feng is sure to kill the opponent. The size of this lone wolf is not much larger than the ordinary wolf before the end of the world. It seems that agile creatures will not become very big, but the opposite is true for powerful creatures. Perhaps it is because agile creatures mainly rely on physical speed and agility, right? When the lone wolf saw Wang Feng, he didn't even bark. He squatted down slightly, then suddenly rose up and turned into a gray shadow and rushed towards Wang Feng. Wang Feng even felt the breath coming from the wolf's mouth. Fishy smell. Wang Feng did not dodge, and activated his Sky Eye and Gale Wind at the same time. The moment before the wolf's claws came into contact with his body, Wang Feng jumped up on the spot. Then he got up on his head and feet, grabbed the lone wolf's ear with his left hand, and pulled his body towards him. Lone wolf, stuck to lone wolf's back, Apocalypse in his right hand fell quickly, and penetrated deeply into lone wolf's head. The lone wolf didn't even make a sound before he fell weakly to the ground. Due to inertia, his body moved forward on the ground for 5 or 6 meters before stopping. It took Wang Feng a long time to get up from the wolf's body, and he looked blankly at the corpse on the ground. Apocalypse was still stuck on the wolf's forehead. Although the wolf's life energy had been absorbed, Wang Feng did not. The mind calls it back. Because Wang Feng discovered that his heavenly eye seemed to have advanced. After becoming a second-level evolver, his superpower Swift Wind also advanced. After being activated, the increase to himself increased from the original 220% to 300%, and the consumption did not increase, and you can also cancel at any time. Although the ability of the Sky Eye has changed a little, it only consumes less energy. And because the Sky Eye originally consumed little, this change is basically useless. But just now, after Wang Feng opened the Sky Eye, he found that several light spots suddenly appeared on the wolf that was rushing towards him. Its claws and fangs in its mouth faintly showed red light, while the wolf's eyes, eyebrows, and abdomen were shining with a faint green light. Especially in the eyebrows, the green light seemed to be more intense than other places, which was not seen before when the Sky Eye was activated. Because the wolf had already pounced in front of Wang Feng did not have time to think about it, and jumped up directly to avoid the attack of the lone wolf, but when attacking the lone wolf, Wang Feng changed his planned attack position. When Wang Feng dealt with mutant beasts, he basically went for the eyes of the mutant beasts, because the skin and bones of mutant beasts were basically very tough, and only the eyes were the easiest to break through, and they were closest to the brain. But this time, Wang Feng temporarily changed the position and changed the landing point of Apocalypse to the center of the wolf's eyebrows, because after opening the Sky Eye, the green light spot at the center of the eyebrows was the most intense. Wang Feng wanted to know if the Sky Eye was telling him that the biggest weakness of the wolf was the center of its eyebrows. Facts proved that Wang Feng's idea was correct. After Apocalypse fell, it directly penetrated the wolf's skull and killed it with one blow. Wang Feng stared blankly at Apocalypse inserted in the wolf's head, analyzing the strange image of the Sky Eye just now. From the position, red should represent dangerous parts, and green represents the enemy's weakness. When did the Sky Eye have this function? Wang Feng had a dazed expression on his face, but his heart was beating wildly. If his guess was true, then his lack of strength would be made up. If I don't have enough strength, can't I just attack the weakness directly? In order to verify his idea, Wang Feng quickly came back to his senses, bent down to collect the body of the lone wolf, recalled Tiankai by the way, and then continued to move towards the depths of the mountain. When Wang Feng returned to the gate of the reserve base again, it was 2 days later, that is to say, 11 days had passed since Sang Xiao used the evolution potion. In the past 2 days, Wang Feng found 15 mutant beasts again and killed them all. By killing these mutant beasts, he finally understood the function of the Sky Eye after the advancement. Wang Feng's previous guess was correct. After the Sky Eye was opened, when facing the enemy, the part of the enemy's body that was displayed in red was the part that threatened Wang Feng again, and the greater the threat, the richer the color. And green is the enemy's weak part. Of course, the richer it is, the more deadly it is. This time, the Sky Eye has truly become another killer of Wang Feng. With the indestructible Tiankai, Wang Feng's current combat power is already catching up with the instructor. Well, of course, Wang Feng was just thinking about chasing the instructor in his heart, and he would never say it out loud. He didn't have the courage to ask the instructor for advice. In his opinion, there was basically no difference between seeking a fight with the instructor and seeking abuse. At least Wang Feng believed that the instructor's terrible fighting intuition was definitely not worse than his own eyes. From the instructor's eyes when he saw Tiankai, it can be known that the instructor must have seen Tiankai's extraordinariness. In the battle between him and the instructor would never let Tiankai touch his body. This is the instructor's terrible intuition. He seems to be able to feel all the crises around him. Any conspiracy and sneak attack basically does not work in front of the instructor. The destruction of those killers, mercenaries, and special forces has fully verified this point. Opening the door, Wang Feng threw the body of a leopard on his back to the ground. During the 11 days of hunting, the Tiankai space was already filled with the bodies of mutant beasts. This leopard was his last trophy. The space could no longer hold it. Wang Feng was unwilling to waste it, so he had to carry it back. As Wang Feng expected, the 3 little ones had already completed their evolution and all entered the ranks of evolvers. 3 8-year-old evolvers, in this Doomsday, it should be impossible to find evolvers younger than them. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 155. Even if it was Wang Feng, he probably couldn't replicate a large number of evolvers like San Xiao, because according to the instructor, the weak body of a child could not withstand the powerful life energy contained in the strengthening potion. Maybe if you find 100 children to use the strengthening potion on them, there might be 1 or 2 people with a physique like San Xiao, but the price is that the other 90 children may all explode and die. Of course, Wang Feng can't do this. Another way is like Shen Yishan's child Niu Niu. Niu Niu also used the strengthening potion, but successfully became an enhancer. When Niu Niu used the strengthening potion, the instructor had not come yet, and everyone didn't know that it would be dangerous for children to use the strengthening potion. However, after Shen Yishan used the strengthening potion on Niu Niu, there was no accident, but like San Xiao, she successfully became an enhancer. This is not because Niu Niu's physique is the same as San Xiao, which is very special, but because Niu Niu had eaten a lot of mutant beast meat before using the strengthening potion. Among them, the flesh and blood of the turtle, a level 5 creature, was included. As Shen Yishan's child, Niu Niu was naturally treated preferentially. Other children might just drink some broth and at most have a small piece of turtle meat to eat, but Niu Niu, this little girl, was treated specially. As the only little girl in the club, and Niu Niu's appearance was very cute and her mouth was sweet, so none of the enhancers who came and went in the club disliked her, especially Duan Lei and Tang Haoshan, who spoiled Niu Niu. Tang Haoshan even asked to be Niu Niu's godfather, but before Niu Niu agreed, Tang Haoshan had an accident and entered the evolution process. Under this circumstance, Niu Niu simply ate the turtle meat as a meal, eating as much as she wanted, and fortunately it was so, otherwise Niu Niu might have died long ago because of the use of strengthening potions. The instructor also knew about Niu Niu's situation, but after examining Niu Niu's body, he concluded that because Niu Niu had eaten a large amount of the flesh and blood of level 5 creatures before, her body had been strengthened to a certain extent. In addition, when she used the strengthening potion, the undigested turtle meat in her body helped her offset a certain amount of life energy, so Niu Niu was able to escape. Of course, because of this reason, after Niu Niu became an enhancer, her strength did not improve much, and she was not much stronger than an ordinary adult. However, this also has an advantage, that is, Niu Niu can use another strengthening potion, because her body has not reached the limit of strengthening and can continue to absorb strengthening potions. However, after Shen Yishan knew the situation, she was quite scared and resolutely did not allow Niu Niu to use the strengthening potion again. She is Niu Niu's mother. Since that is the case, even the instructor will not force her. Anyway, Niu Niu is a girl, and everyone has no intention of letting her become an active warrior on the battlefield, so she will let her go. However, because of this situation, there is an additional rule in the base, that is, children under the age of 14 are strictly prohibited from using strengthening potions. As for the reason, of course it has been announced. This is to prevent some adults who are still with them from not using the potion themselves after getting it, but leaving it to their children. Poor parents, no matter what time, parents will always put their children first. There are so many orphans and widows in the base because those fathers lost their lives while protecting them. And the weak women who are mothers can persist in the belief until now in this dark end of the world because they still have children, and they are the support of their children. For their children, they are willing to sell their bodies and give up their dignity. For a little food, they are willing to do anything, and then give most of the food they get back to their children. Regardless of whether their children understand them or not, they seem so unswerving and natural, because raising their children has become their only belief in living in this world. At any time, the person a person should trust the most is his or her parents. Maybe sometimes the decisions they make you dissatisfied, or even wrong decisions, but one thing is certain, that is, their starting point is definitely for your own good. Even if they are negligent and make mistakes, please remember that when you are proud, they will advise you, when you are frustrated, they will encourage you, and when you are abandoned by the whole world, they will silently stand behind you and accompany you. They must be them, and only them. Seeing Wang Feng return to the reserve base, the three children did not show any excitement, because after they completed the evolution, Wang Feng did not come back, and they could not open the door of the reserve base, so they began to adapt to their bodies and familiarize themselves with their abilities in the base. Although the base is in the belly of the mountain, because there is a permanent power supply, the lighting will never be interrupted, and the food is absolutely sufficient for the three children. Moreover, before Wang Feng left last time, he also left all the mutant beasts in his apocalypse space. Because the mutant beasts have been strengthened, even if they are corpses, they will not rot in a short time. Even at room temperature, they can be preserved for at least 1 month. So the three little ones were not panicked in this relatively safe reserve base with food and drink. They were adapting to their abilities every day. In addition to continuing weight training, the three of them often fought each other. Anyway, the self-healing ability of the evolvers was very strong, so they were not afraid of getting hurt. Because the three little ones were in tune with each other, the fight between the three of them would not cause accidents due to accidental injuries. Therefore, in the fight, they basically went all out, and their combat power naturally increased very quickly. This was also the unique condition of the three little ones. Others did not have this advantage. When they were practicing against each other, they would always be reserved and dared not go all out for fear of accidental injuries. The evolution process of the three little ones lasted a total of 8 days, which was 4 days less than Wang Feng's 12 days. This did not mean that their potential was much worse than Wang Feng, but because they were too young now, and the three of them together might not be as heavy as Wang Feng, so their body transformation naturally did not last that long. After Wang Feng opened the gate and entered the reserve base, the three children who were fighting all stopped, and then stood in front of Wang Feng in a row. Looking at the three children, Wang Feng smiled lightly and asked softly, "Success?" The three children nodded together, and the smile on Wang Feng's face became more intense. "That's good. Get ready, we're going back to the base." The three children nodded together, and then put their backpacks back on their backs. They didn't have anything to prepare, because they didn't bring anything when they came. Even this backpack was given to them by Wang Feng after they came here. Of course, the stones in the backpacks have been replaced with food such as chocolate. Although they have become evolvers, the three children are still 3 8-year-old children after all, and Wang Feng said in advance that they can use everything here at will. In addition to chocolate, each of the three children also took 2 bayonets and 2 daggers. As for hot weapons, they didn't take any, even the smallest pistols, they didn't take one. One is because the three children don't know how to use it. Even if they can use it, their shooting skills are not much better. In addition to talent, sharpshooters must also conduct a lot of live-fire shooting training every day. It can be said that every sharpshooter is fed by tons of bullets. Now is the end of the world, so there will naturally not be so many bullets to train sharpshooters, and the three children themselves seem to be uninterested in hot weapons. Moreover, the three of them are agile evolvers, and they are more comfortable with cold weapons. Because there are only 8 hurricanes in total, and they have all been driven back to the Hope base, Wang Feng had to drive a warrior from the reserve base, and then threw all the bodies of the mutant beasts into the car. After the three children entered the cab one after another, Wang Feng drove the warrior out of the reserve base. Along the way, they returned to the Hope base without any danger. After parking the car at the club, Wang Feng just jumped out of the car, and a hearty laugh came. 2 figures appeared in front of Wang Feng, and one of them gave him a bear hug. These 2 people are Tang Haoshan and Gui Wuivang. After such a long time, these 2 people have completed the evolution process and become real evolvers. What surprised Wang Feng was that Gui Wuivang, the one-armed guy, was in good health at this time, and the arm that was broken at the elbow was actually healed. "Gitu? Your arm?" Wang Feng looked at Gui Wuivang and asked in surprise. "I said madman. Can we change the name?" Gui Wuivang shook his head and smiled bitterly, then stretched out his left hand and looked at it, shook his head and said, "I don't know about this. I followed your words and returned to my room. After drinking the evolution potion, I slowly fell asleep. And this," Gui Wuivang raised his arm, "it was like this when I woke up. I thought I was not awake at the time." Wang Feng secretly asked Tiankai, and Tiankai's answer was that maybe it was because the evolution potion used by Gui Wuivang contained the origin of life, and when Gui Wuivang's body was transformed, there might be a mutation, so his arm was restored. As for the specifics, Tiankai couldn't tell clearly. Wang Feng shook his head. This was a good thing anyway. If he couldn't figure it out, then so be it. Anyway, there were finally 2 more evolvers in the base. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 156. Madman. Old Tang, won't say anything this time. Anyway, my life will be yours from now on. As long as you say a word, Old Tang, will commit suicide without a second thought. Tang Haoshan patted Wang Feng on the shoulder, his eyes filled with gratitude. TCH. Is there something wrong with me? Create an evolver and make him commit suicide. Wang Feng rolled his eyes at Tang Haoshan angrily. You'd better live well and help me manage the base. Ha 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 ha. No problem. I'll be there if I'm at the base, and you'll be there if I'm not there. Tang Haoshan laughed loudly. Madman. Me too, I won't say much. Anyway, I will help you take care of this base, Gui Weavong also said. When fighting mutant zombies, he was bitten by a zombie in order to save Wang Feng. At that time, he had already had the consciousness to die there. Unexpectedly, not only did he become an evolver himself, but he also had the body cut off by Wang Feng. The arms also grew again. When he came to the base, even though he knew that Wang Feng had a potion that could make people become evolvers, Gui Weavu did not dare to think that he could get one. Although he had saved Wang Feng, this was the end of the world. And he is a cripple. Since the evolution potion can make any enhancer become an evolver, that is to say, the value of his third-level enhancer in Wang Feng's eyes is almost the same as that of a first-level enhancer. Wang Feng can let him stay in the base. Zhonyang Lao is worthy of him. There is no point in consuming an evolution potion just for a cripple. Anyone can figure out which one is more powerful and will be more helpful to the base, a complete evolver or an evolver with a broken arm. Especially when he saw Wang Feng's surprised look when he discovered that he had broken his arm just now, Gui Weavong naturally knew that Wang Feng did not know that his broken arm could be restored, which meant that Wang Feng had never thought about his concerns at all. He directly gave himself an evolution potion and became an evolver. What Gui Weavong didn't know was that the evolution potion was really not that important in Wang Feng's eyes, especially during this period. Wang Feng was hunting mutant beasts aggressively, and every mutant beast could be transformed into an evolution potion. Of course, there can be no source of life in this evolutionary potion. Of course, Wang Feng must repay his kindness, and even if Wang Feng can now create evolvers in large quantities, it is impossible for Wang Feng to do so. People who want to become evolvers must first gain Wang Feng's trust. Wang Feng, I definitely don't want to personally cultivate some careerists who will become my enemies in the future. Especially the source of life, which can only be produced by mutant beasts above level 5 creatures. Although he was lucky enough to kill a level 5 turtle, he doesn't know when he will have to wait until next time, at least Wang Feng. It is estimated that even the instructors may be powerless when facing mutant beasts that have reached the 5th level. There is not much life source left now, so Wang Feng will not waste it. As for the people closest to him, he will add the life source into the evolution potion. Wang Feng did the math and found that there were now a total of people who had used the evolution potion: Lu Qiang, Zhang Xiu, Lu Feng, Qiu Jian, Gui Weavuo, Tang Haoshan, Duan Lei, and Shami Sangxiao. Among them, none of the evolvers before Lu Feng had the origin of life, because he himself did not have this thing at that time. The origin of life was absorbed by Apocalypse in the turtle's body after the death of the turtle. The previous ones naturally did not have this luck. Moreover, Lu Qiang and Zhang Xiu's evolution potions did not even match their blood types. At that time, they had just received Tiankai, and Tiankai's bad temper was that he would not tell you unless you asked him. And I didn't understand so many mysteries at the time. If the black cat I happened to kill was consistent with my evolutionary direction, and I was already covered in blood when I killed the black cat, maybe I wouldn't have been so lucky. The most suitable evolution potion for you that is fused with your own blood. In other words, among Wang Feng's team, the more advanced they are, the higher their combat power may be. But the trouble is, the more advanced they are the ones Wang Feng trusts the most. Needless to say, Lu Qiang, in Wang Feng's mind, a person who is on par with Taizu is a little worse than Duan Lei, but this is not a relationship of trust, but that he and Duan Lei have actually experienced the battlefield. A comrade in arms, someone who can truly give his back to the other party. This relationship is even closer than that of biological brothers. People who have never been on the battlefield will never understand this feeling. On the battlefield where flesh and blood are everywhere and death can come at any time, your comrades in arms are in this special situation. At this time, he is your only relative and your only support in the world. At this time, he even surpasses your parents. So now this base. It can be said that the person Wang Feng believed in the most was Duan Lei, because he was an orphan and had no parents. Although the dean was very kind to him, he could never get the love from his parents from others. For Wang Feng, his only relatives in this world are his comrades in arms, and of his comrades in arms, Duan Lei is the only one left. Although the others may not be dead, they are at least missing. As for the instructor, he can be regarded as Wang Feng's parent, or Wang Feng's leader, but Wang Feng will never treat him as his brother. No one can explain this feeling clearly. Wang Feng can regard his instructor as his parent. In fact, he has always done so. He can also give his back to him, and he can even trust his instructor unconditionally. But Wang Feng couldn't reveal everything about himself in front of the instructor. Just like you can tell your brothers or sisters some things, but you will never tell your parents. This is not because of distrust, but because of an emotion that you can't explain yourself. Regardless of the generation gap or the age gap, in short, there will be some things that you cannot tell your parents, but you can discuss them with your brothers and sisters as you like. Even if it is, you know very well in your heart that maybe the answer you want, right in their mouths. Wang Feng looked at Tang Haoshan and Gui Weivu with a warm look in his eyes. Old Tang, come back. Is Lei Zi awake? Xiao Lei, Tang Haoshan was stunned. No. This guy is still sleeping. Wang Feng was also stunned. He's just pretending, right? How is that possible? Wang Feng's suspicion was justified. His evolution process was only 12 days. How many days has it been since Duan Lei returned to the base? Wang Feng led the third primary school for the first phase of training, which lasted for 7 days. After that, he wandered for 12 days. Including the time he came back, it was almost 20 days. Duan Lei was still not awake. Wang Feng knew the instructor, and Li Yingning's decision would never change because of anything. When he said that Duan Lei was needed to drive the hurricane back, the instructor did not object. He just said that after Duan Lei came back, he must use the evolution potion immediately to become Evolver, then join the training. Now, since Tang Haoshan and the others say that Duan Lei is not awake, it means that Duan Lei is really still evolving, because if he is pretending, he will definitely not be able to hide it from the instructor. No matter why, Wang Feng knows that there is no way to deceive the instructor. Now, Tang Haoshan and the others said that Duan Lei did not wake up, and the instructor did not say anything, so there is only one possibility, that is, Duan Lei really did not wake up. 20 days. Wang Feng's evolution process only lasted 12 days. What is Duan Lei doing now? Wang Feng didn't know, but he didn't dare to question the instructor, so he had to follow the predetermined process and said to Tang Haoshan and Gui Weivu, Liza, don't worry about it for now. I brought these 3 little guys back. Who should I give them to? When Tang Haoshan and Gui Weivu heard this, they laughed sinisterly at the same time. Leave it to the instructor. The instructor said that he will train these 3 little guys personally. The 2 guys looked at the third boy with pity in their eyes. Unexpectedly, the third boy clearly saw their expressions, but still looked ahead expressionlessly. Old Tang. Have these 3 little guys never met the instructor? Gui Weivu asked with some confusion. How the hell do I know? I didn't wake up earlier than you, but looking at their expressions, it seems that they know the instructor. Tang Haoshan scratched his head and said with some confusion. However, I think they don't have a deep understanding of the instructors, so they are still very calm now. Maybe they will be so scared that they will pee their pants when they see the instructors. Haha, Tang Haoshan pointed at Sang Xiao and laughed loudly. Little guys. Your expressions look like instructors. But if you know the instructor's skills, you. Tang Haoshan's voice stopped suddenly, because Wang Mi, one of the 3 Xiao Mi Xiaos, was already standing in front of him, and a dagger in his hand was placed directly on his throat. "Come back," Wang Feng said coldly, with a hint of killing intent in his tone. "Wang Mi, I hope you remember that your weapons should never be pointed at my brothers, no matter at any time. If there is a next time, I will not kill you, but you will not appear by my side again." Following Wang Feng's voice, Wang Mi seemed to disappear suddenly, disappearing from the front of Tang Haoshan, and then appeared in front of Wang Feng. He was seen kneeling on his knees, carefully kneeling in front of Wang Feng, nodding his head, carefully said, "I'm sorry, Brother Feng." No explanation, no excuse, just an apology. "Get up. Tell me what you just thought," Wang Feng said coldly, not because he wanted to show off, but because he felt that what Wang Mi just did was really too much. "I didn't let you become an evolver to threaten me." A brother. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 157. Wang Feng felt really angry at this moment. He had been optimistic about the three little ones before, because they were basically the only three who could become enhancers at a young age, which fully demonstrated their potential. But Wang Mi's action just now made him very dissatisfied. At least in Wang Feng's mind, the weapon in his hand should always be pointed at the enemy. What was Wang Mi doing just now? Putting the dagger at his brother's throat. No matter what the reason, Wang Feng would never forgive this action. Wang Mi looked at Wang Feng. His eyes were still filled with that kind of resolute and unyielding look. He stared at Wang Feng's eyes without any expression, and spoke clearly, "We are your guardians. Although we continue to accept your benefits, that is only to strengthen ourselves and make us more useful to you. We will never allow anyone to look down on us. Even if they are the instructor's people, as long as they dare to look down on us, they are our enemies. Because our master, there is only one. That's you." Wang Feng stared at San Xiao blankly, then put his hand on his chin, and then wiped his face twice. "I wipe? Okay. You, cough cough. Speaking of this." Wang Feng seemed to have no idea what to say next, so he covered his face with his hands again. After a long while, he looked up again and looked at San Xiao seriously. He knew that his next statement might affect San Xiao's voice, so Wang Feng carefully considered it in his heart, but he was not Duan Lei. Even if he thought about it for another year, he was afraid that he would have nothing to say. "Huh," Wang Feng let out a long breath, then looked at Sang Xiao and said seriously, "Do you know? The instructor is the person I trust the most." "I know. But he is not the one we trust the most," Wang Mi answered without hesitation. "No. I mean..." Wang Feng hurriedly defended himself. But Sang Xiao, who was not good at talking, interrupted him again. "We don't care what it means, we only know that we don't care about anyone else's words except you, and we won't listen to anyone's orders. We just want to do our best when you die." Hearing Sang Xiao's answer, Wang Feng was stunned for a long time. "Do our best when you die? Is this really said by an 8-year-old child?" Wang Feng didn't know, but he knew that from Wang Mi's eyes, he knew it was true. The next training. "Do you want to continue?" Wang Feng looked at Wang Mi and said. Because the next training, Shalumi Sang Xiao himself knew, and it was all arranged by the instructor, so Wang Feng asked this question. "As long as you agree, we will participate." Wang Mi's answer is always so simple and straightforward. "Okay. Then you will participate." Wang Feng took a deep breath and answered. "Are you sure you want to continue?" After Wang Feng brought the three children to Li Yingning, he left according to the instructor's instructions. After that, Li Yingning looked at the three children in front of him and asked, with a rare seriousness on his face. "Sure. I just want to see." "What do you want to play?" The expression on Wang Mi's face at this time was not like that of an 8-year-old child at all. Unfortunately, The only people present now were the instructor Li Yingning and the 3 children of Shalumi. We? It seems that you know a lot. The instructor also had a mocking smile on his face. It shouldn't be much. But at least before you kill us, don't even think about touching Wang Feng's hair, Wang Mi answered decisively. Hey, the instructor shook his head, you are still so stupid. If I really wanted to kill Wang Feng, why would I stay until now? Pointing at Sang Xiao, the instructor said disdainfully, if I want to kill Wang Feng, who can stop me in this situation? Wang Mi was stunned, and seemed to be thinking for a while, then he looked at the instructor and asked, what is your purpose? The instructor smiled bitterly, actually, I have no purpose. Seeing Wang Mi's puzzled eyes, the instructor continued, I really have no purpose, because I don't know why I live at all. Maybe you will know why you live. For revenge or for survival, at least. You have your own goal. What about me? You know what I am, and you know my purpose, but, do you know what I think? Maybe I have been in contact with this group of people for a long time, I found that this kind of life is not what I want, at least, it is not what I like. The instructor's face showed a ferocious look that had never appeared on his face before. I am not a human being, nor am I a creature of this planet, but now I really hope. I am a creature of this planet, I am a human being, and I am the role I am playing now. 2 lines of hot tears fell from the instructor's eyes. I have never known what tears and sadness are, and I think you don't know either. Whether you believe it or not, what I want to say now is that I really don't want to continue. You know this is impossible. Even if we believe you, ask yourself, can you believe it? The grief and anger in Wang Mi's eyes seemed to be able to burn the universe. Can you believe it yourself? Can you have emotions? The instructor clenched his fists and his body trembled constantly. I don't know, but I will try my best. Wang Mi looked at the instructor and nodded, before confirmation. We are still enemies, but I hope that no one between us will reveal the other's identity. Li Yingning nodded, and a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Of course. I also plan to train you well. Wang Mi's eyes suddenly became sharp, and there was a little depression in between. Damn it. I warn you, it's almost enough, don't go too far. Oh? What will happen if you go too far? The instructor's voice seemed very proud. Don't forget. I am an instructor. You are just 3 little brats. The 3 little Shalumi didn't say anything, but their clenched fists clearly told others that they were in a very bad mood now. Wang Feng sat next to the fountain in the central square, staring at the willow tree in a daze. This situation has lasted for a long time, but Wang Feng seemed to be unable to feel the passage of time, just staring at the willow tree blankly. Although Duan Lei is now in deep sleep, Wang Feng can still ask Tang Haoshan, Lu Feng, Gui Weivong about the development of the base, but Wang Feng is really not in the mood now. Logically speaking, Wang Feng should be very happy now, because the 3 little ones have grown up and Duan Lei has also entered the evolution period. Although he has not woken up yet, Tian Kai has clearly told him that the longer the evolution time is, the stronger he will be after the evolution. Duan Lei is now 20 days old, which is longer than Wang Feng's original 12 days. Wang Feng should be happy. After all, Duan Lei is the person he trusts most besides the instructor. Even if he has to choose between the instructor and Duan Lei, Wang Feng knows that he will most likely choose Duan Lei. Duan Lei is Wang Feng's playmate since childhood. After joining the army, the 2 have never separated. Until this dark end of the world, the 2 have almost spent time together. Wang Feng has no reason to doubt Duan Lei. Even now, he still hasn't told Duan Lei the secret of apocalypse. It's just because Wang Feng thinks that the secret of apocalypse itself is a burden, because apocalypse can't be shared, and can only be used by himself. So after he told Duan Lei would invisibly bear the same pressure as himself. The only difference is that he can get benefits from apocalypse, but Duan Lei can't. So Wang Feng chose to bear the secret himself. No one below him would know. He also knew what Duan Lei had noticed, but he knew that as long as he didn't take the initiative to confess, Duan Lei would never ask. There's no reason. This is the trust established during the war, the trust between comrades. Just as Wang Feng was staring at the willow tree, a figure slowly came behind him. Wang Feng didn't make any moves. Even if he sensed someone approaching him, he still kept his figure and sat on the shore, motionless. Because the person approaching him from behind was another person who could gain his trust besides Duan Lei, and it was a woman. This woman is of course Lu Wanting. In the base, it can be said that even if Shen Yishan approaches him quietly, it will be difficult because Wang Feng does not believe her. Shen Yishan is someone Duan Lei trusts, but in the tradition of the army, I will take care of your family, but I will not treat them as you. This is the idea of a soldier. That's right. I can treat your father as my father, but I will never trust your father as my father. I believe in my comrades, but I will not trust my comrades' relatives. Because the friendship on the battlefield can only be understood by those who have been on the battlefield. Everyone knows that your comrades will block the bullets shot at you for you, but his brothers, his parents, his wife, and children, they may not. The reason is very simple, that is, you are not their relatives. They can give everything for your comrades, but not necessarily for you. It is very likely that they will resent you, because if it were not for covering you, his son, his husband, and his father might not die on the battlefield. Just like we can't blame our comrades, why did we share life and death together in the past, but now you have so many concerns, brother. It's not that I can't die for you, but because we are not on the battlefield now. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 158. Lu Wanting walked silently behind Wang Feng, hugged him gently from behind, put her head on his back, and felt his heartbeat. Wang Feng had given Lu Wanting the evolution potion a long time ago, but Lu Wanting had never used it, because Duan Lei had fallen into a deep sleep, and Wang Feng was often not in the base, so Lu Wanting felt that she could not complete her evolution at this time. At least, she had to wait until Duan Lei woke up. Taizu, Yunfei, and Chen Shaoan, who had been with Wang Feng from the beginning, also got their own evolution potion, completed their own evolution process, and became evolvers. They are now receiving training from the instructor. When Duan Lei wakes up, with the addition of these evolvers, the power of the base will increase a lot at once. At that time, Lu Wanting will complete her own evolution and become an evolver. Now, she has to help Wang Feng protect this base, because this base is not only Wang Feng's dream, but also hers. Ting ting. Actually, you can use the evolution potion now. The instructor is at the base, so there's no problem. Wang Feng didn't look back, but just gently held Lu Wanting's hands on his chest and whispered. No. I have to wait until Brother Lei wakes up. Instructor, I always feel something is strange. Maybe women's intuition is really sharper than men's. Since the instructor came here, Lu Wanting felt that the instructor seemed to be wrong again, but she couldn't say specifically. He. The instructor is like that. His temper has always been weird. You just get used to it. Wang Feng chuckled. Lu Wanting shook her head gently, but didn't say anything. She knew that Wang Feng misunderstood her meaning, but she didn't argue. Maybe her feeling was really wrong? Feng. Why does Brother Lei's evolution take so long? It seems that other people basically have a maximum of 12 days, but Brother Lei's has been almost 20 days, right? Lu Wanting stopped worrying about the instructor and changed the subject. I don't know, but the longer this process lasts, the greater the benefit to Lei Zi. Wang Feng shook his head gently. He didn't know why Duan Lei's evolution process would last so long. After sending Shalumi San Xiao back, Wang Feng learned that Duan Lei was still in the process of evolution. Although he was a little surprised, he didn't say anything, because this evolution process was not something that anyone could decide. Maybe it was because Doomsday used the life energy of a level 5 creature and added the life source of a turtle and the mutant energy of the lightning system? Just when Wang Feng and Lu Wanting were chatting, the instructor brought Xiaolumi San Xiao to find Wang Feng. Wang Feng was a little surprised, because according to the instructor's arrangement, Xiaolumi San Xiao should follow the instructor to receive training, and then follow him. Li Yingning came to Wang Feng and said lightly, "Your next Hell Week is with 3 little guys." When talking about the little guys, Li Yingning's face, which had never changed for thousands of years, actually showed a hint of sarcasm, and the 3 little guys, who had always been criticized by Wang Feng for having the same face as the instructor, unexpectedly showed an expression of humiliation on their faces. Wang Feng naturally didn't dare to ask more questions, and his training at this stage had been arranged long ago, that is, to enter the other side of Black Dragon Mountain and try to eliminate the mutant beasts in the mountain. The original arrangement was that he would enter the mountain to kill, and the 3 little guys would be trained by the instructor for at least 1 week after becoming an evolver, and then Wang Feng would come to pick them up. In fact, it seems that this Hell Week was simply arranged for the 3 little guys to kill, but the current changes surprised Wang Feng a little. Why don't these 3 little guys need to accept the training of the instructor? If they follow him directly, can their combat experience meet the standards? But of course Wang Feng didn't dare to ask the instructor directly about the question in his heart, so he had to hide it in his heart. Since the instructor asked him to do this, then let's do it this way. There is no need to ask more, because the instructor will not answer even if he asks. Looking at the 3 little ones of Xiaolumi, he found that they had no expression and just stood in front of him. Wang Feng was also depressed. "Let me take you with you, don't you think there is anything wrong with you? Okay. We are both evolvers. I think I will let you know the gap between us." Wang Feng thought so in his heart, and he did so. He nodded to Lu Wanting with a hint of apology in his eyes, and then turned and walked out of the base. This time he did not drive, but chose to walk, and the direction of his advance was the other half of the Black Dragon Mountain. The half of the Qinglong Mountain where the reserve base is located has basically been emptied by him, and there is no point in going back. Now his task is to clean up the mutant beasts in the other side of the Black Dragon Mountain. Now that the 3 little ones have become evolvers, he doesn't have to worry about them anymore, so Wang Feng really started his speed at this time. The 3 little ones followed behind Wang Feng, as if their abilities were also related to speed. Even though Wang Feng had fully exerted his full strength at this time, he still couldn't pull the 3 little ones down too much. The 4 figures swept into the Black Dragon Mountains one after another and began their 1-month hunting operation. Before coming out this time, Wang Feng also emptied his apocalypse space, even leaving only 100 arrows. This time, Wang Feng was ready to improve his melee ability. In the base, Li Yingning was looking up at the sky, his eyes seemed a little confused. He murmured, "I don't know if you will agree with my approach, but when you come here, everything can no longer be changed, right?" A month passed in a flash, when Wang Feng and the 3 little ones dragged their tired bodies out of the Black Dragon Mountain. Each of them carried a mutant beast corpse on their shoulders. They threw the mutant beasts on their shoulders on top of a pile of corpses made of mutant beasts, and sighed at the same time. Wang Feng now regretted why he didn't drive a car here. After a month of hunting, the mutant beasts in the Black Dragon Mountain suffered a catastrophic disaster and were almost killed by these 4 people. At the beginning, Wang Feng and the 3 little ones still acted together. But after the second day, the 4 began to act separately, probably because the end of the world had not started for too long, and the highest mutant beast in the Black Dragon Mountain was only a level 3 creature, and there was not even a level 4 creature. I don't know why, even without receiving the instructor's training, Sang Xiao seemed to have the instructor's sharp fighting instinct. When Wang Feng saw Sang Xiao's first move, his mouth was so wide that a mutant beast could almost be stuffed in. Simple, direct, and violent, this is the conclusion Wang Feng made for Sang Xiao. A level 3 mutant beast didn't even last 2 seconds in front of Wang Mi and died under Wang Mi's dagger. Of course, Wang Mi chose to attack the mutant beast's eyes. Their daggers were just military daggers taken from the reserve base. Although they were very strong and sharp, they were still far behind Apocalypse. After seeing Sang Xiao's skills, Wang Feng chose to act alone, because Sang Xiao didn't need his own protection at all now, and each of them had the ability to survive independently in this mountain. After the four separated, the mutant beasts in the Black Dragon Mountains were in bad luck, but Wang Feng didn't have any scruples, because this training method could exercise his actual combat ability on the one hand, and on the other hand, it also played a positive role in the safety of the base. Who knows if these mutant beasts will go outside to cause trouble for the base. Clearing them all out can be regarded as eliminating a safety hazard of the base, and the corpses of these mutant beasts are also a resource that can enhance the strength of the base. The points system in the base has been implemented for a long time, but only those guarding warriors can have enough points to exchange for strengthening potions. As for those non-combatants, unless they have special skills in some aspects, other people have no way to accumulate enough points to exchange for strengthening potions. One is that Duan Lei deliberately raised the exchange price of strengthening potions, and the other is because the survivors in the base now have to use points to exchange for food and drinking water every day. When the base was established, it was very clear that it would never support idle people. You dare not go out, but you must use your own labor to exchange points and support yourself. Fortunately, the entire base is now developing rapidly. As long as you are not lazy, anyone can find a job that suits them. If you don't know anything, moving things and planting land will always work, right? Even those children who are receiving training from instructors can get a certain amount of points to support themselves after completing their daily training. Of course, there are still some women who don't want to do anything and just want to rely on their bodies to survive. For this situation, the upper echelons of the base don't care. As long as there is no forced thing, it is their own choice to live how they want. And those men do have this need. One is willing to fight and the other is willing to be beaten. Wang Feng and Duan Lei are naturally unwilling to interfere too much. It seems that we have to go back and ask for support alone. Wang Feng looked at the corpses of hundreds of mutant beasts in front of him and said, "Who will go back?" The three children looked at each other and didn't say anything. After a month of continuous fighting, both San Xiao and Wang Feng felt very tired. Since Wang Feng didn't ask him to go back in an imperative tone, San Xiao would naturally not take the initiative to fight for this task. Seeing San Xiao's reaction, Wang Feng sighed, then, rock paper scissors. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 159. The third child seemed to know this kind of gameplay. After Wang Feng finished speaking, they nodded together. Then, the four people gathered around and shouted, "Rock, paper, scissors." Wipe it. Wang Feng looked at Sang Xiao's outstretched palms depressedly, and then looked at his own fists. He felt depressed in his heart. He was actually defeated so happily in the first time, but since this method is it's natural that you can't refuse the payment if you put it forward yourself. After shaking his head, Wang Feng moved and flew towards the base. Killing, the three young men quietly watched Wang Feng's leaving figure. It was not until Wang Feng disappeared from their sight that the three young men raised their heads and looked at the sky. The spaceship that appeared at the Black Dragon Bridge slowly descended from the clouds, and stopped only when it was only about 10 meters above the ground. Then, a hole opened in the bottom of the spacecraft, and two Yan-Yans were wrapped all over. A solid humanoid creature descended from the cave. You shouldn't have appeared. Wang Mi watched the two humanoid creatures descend in front of him and couldn't help but frowned. Wei Yi was discovered and ruined the leader's plan. Can you bear the responsibility? Pull it. We came down after watching the kid leave. He couldn't find it. The humanoid creature dressed in silver-white clothing and wearing a blue helmet said. His special power is the Sky Eye, which functions as a super long-range sight. You'd better be careful, otherwise our identity will be exposed, and the leader will need to explain it yourself, Wang Mi still said coldly. Okay. It's my decision this time, and I will naturally explain it to the leader. Another humanoid creature wearing a yellow helmet said, the Master of Apocalypse is growing a bit slowly, and we don't have much time now, you'd better speed up his growth. You don't need to worry about this. I know our mission. The problem now is that the Master of Apocalypse does not want to simply improve his own strength, but wants to improve all the people around him. Resources are scattered, and the true role of Apocalypse, it seems he hasn't realized it yet. Wang Mi opened his mouth and explained, and due to our identity issues around him now, we can't remind him too obviously. We can only lead him in that direction bit by bit. It's easy. We just need to destroy his bullshit base. Anyway, the leader's plan only requires Master Apocalypse, a human being. Even if we destroy the others, the leader will not blame us. Blue Helmet said easily. No. Master Apocalypse cares about those people and that base very much. Once they are destroyed, it may have counter effects. Moreover, there is another guy in that base who is from over there. Wang Mi rejected Blue Helmet's suggestion. Over there, Blue Helmet and Yellow Helmet looked at each other, seemingly a little shocked. We need to go back and report this to the leader, and he will decide how to solve it. After thinking about it for a while, Huang Helmet said slowly. Okay. But you also tell the leader that it seems that guy has no ill intentions towards the Master of Tiankai, but is helping him. Tell the leader that we'd better not get involved in this matter now. If anything changes, we will send a message. Wang Mi looked at Huang Helmet and said in a solemn tone. Okay. I will tell the leader about this, but I have no control over what the leader decides. Huang Helmet nodded. Is there anything else? If not, leave quickly. It's best not to contact us if we don't send a message in the future to avoid accidents. Wang Mi seemed to dislike talking to these two guys. No more. We just want to urge you to let Master Apocalypse grow up quickly. We don't have much time, so we must not fall short. After Huang Helmet left these words, he nodded to Blue Helmet, and the two of them asked again. He rose up and returned to the spacecraft. The light on the head of the spacecraft flashed for a few times, as if saying goodbye to Killer Sang Xiao, and then quickly rose up and disappeared into the clouds. After the spaceship left, the three boys returned to silence and stood quietly, waiting for Wang Feng's return. I don't know how long it took, but I finally saw the dust flying in the distance. 3 Hurricane 2 vehicles and 3 warriors were driving towards Sang Xiao under the leadership of Wang Feng. Captain. Are we going to keep hanging out like this? Wang Lu couldn't help but ask. Shut up, Wang Mi said coldly, this is the plan set by the leader. If you are not satisfied, you can quit and go back to the leader to find out. Wang Lu snorted and said no more. Okay. That's it, I leave it to you. Take it all back to Lazy Eye. Let's go back first. As the motorcade approached, Wang Feng jumped out of the car in advance and said to a second-level enhancer who was leading the team. Then waved to Sang Xiao and ran towards the camp. Their training is not over yet. They still have to rely on their own 2 legs to return to the camp. No one dares to be lazy during the instructor's training, at least Wang Feng does not dare. Wang Feng did not return to the camp just now. As soon as he entered the scope of Ganlin County, he met a search team that was just setting off to search, so he brought them over directly. Now Wang Feng is very eager to return base. Look at what the base has become after this month of development. The result did not disappoint Wang Feng. The outer defensive wall has been built. The Bishui community as the headquarters is now more like a Thai. The defensive front designed by Lu Wanting has been built and large areas of farmland have been planted. The person guarding the farmland said that because the flesh and blood of zombies were used as fertilizer, the crops were growing well and had been harvested once, enough to feed everyone in the base for a year. Duan Lei naturally woke up early at this moment and completed his evolution. Duan Lei's evolution lasted for 30 days, which is the longest among all people. However, this is not in vain. Duan Lei's superpower it turned out to be the ultimate move that the turtle didn't use at that time, Thunderstorm. Duan Lei once tried his ultimate move, which consumed an astonishing amount of energy. Basically, after launching a thunderstorm, he would lose his ability to fight. But the price is completely worth it, because the effect of Duan Lei's thunderstorm is simply beyond everyone's imagination. Duan Lei, who used to be at the bottom of his combat skills, can now be abused by Lu Fengge regardless of the past. Duan Lei's thunderstorm effect, within a radius of 2 kilometers, thunder will continue to fall. Thunder as thin as a thumb can basically destroy everything. At least when Duan Lei was demonstrating, Lu Qiang threw in a submachine gun, and the gun entered the minefield. It turned into ashes in an instant. Back at the base, Wang Feng found Duan Lei, who had already completed his evolution. After becoming an evolver, it seemed that Duan Lei had not changed much, but his eyesight was sharper. Liza, how do you feel? Wang Feng asked with a smile after seeing Duan Lei. Well, I feel like I can torture you, Duan Lei blinked and said, pretending to be relaxed. TCH. What's the pleasure in torturing me? That's not proportional to your strength. Wang Feng quickly waved his hand. You also tortured me before when you were an enhancer. Ha 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 ha, Duan Lei laughed. That's right. He could abuse Wang Feng before, but that was because of the relationship between the two. But now, Duan Lei has truly mastered cutting-edge combat power. His mood is something that no one else can understand. Although he used to comfort himself by saying that he is not a combat-type enhancer, Duan Lei is a soldier after all. When those enhancers and Wang Feng attacked the mutated zombies, Duan Lei also felt his own disappointment. Although he didn't say it, it didn't mean that he didn't want to, but Duan Lei had always been good at hiding himself. Except for Wang Feng, perhaps no one knew that Duan Lei was also extremely eager to fight. Now, Duan Lei finally has his own special move and is no longer a spectator. Only Wang Feng can share the excitement of this moment with him. How is it? Is there nothing going on at the base? Wang Feng asked with a smile. No. Now Black Dragon City is completely under our control. When exploring Black Dragon City, we found about 20 survivor camps, all of which were not affected by the mutant zombie wave before. Our people told them about us base. Duan Lei directly threw his body on the sofa, found a comfortable position, and then said leisurely. 12 of these 20 camps announced to join us at that time, and another 12 did not choose to join. 4 of these 12 camps are controlled by third-level enhancers, and the rest are all it's controlled by the second-level enhancers. I didn't force them. But there are still 3 camps that I destroyed. Duan Lei stood up and looked at Wang Feng seriously. I won't talk about the darkness in those 3 camps. They are basically similar to the Black Wolf you mentioned. And they also covet the equipment of our Guardian Warriors and the Hurricane Type 2, and want to kill people and steal their goods. After the soldiers who were attacked came back to report, I directly asked Lao Lu to lead people to destroy their camp, and also brought back hundreds of survivors. They are all poor people who have been oppressed by these guys. Wang Feng nodded. Yeah. If Lao Lu goes, those bullies should die cleanly. To be honest, Lao Lu's mentality is the most suitable for this apocalypse. Duan Lei shook his head. Not necessarily. I admit that Lao Lu does have his strengths, but it still depends on the person. Shen Yishan is an example. If it were Lao Lu, Shen Yishan would have been dead by now. Who would have thought can she play such an important role in the base? Of course not, Wang Feng said with a bad smile. I'm talking about Lazy Eye, and I'm going to ask Shen Yishan, when did you take her in? It seems that the whole base knows what she means to you. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 160. Get lost. Duan Lei stood up immediately after hearing this. Don't listen to those guys' nonsense. We have nothing at all. Hey. Lazy Eye, Wang Feng said leisurely without raising his eyelids, don't you and I know each other? If there is really no problem, why did you jump up? Wang Feng sat up and looked at Duan Lei seriously. All right, Lazy Eye. Don't do this with me. At this point, Wang Feng turned around and looked outside the club, and let out a long sigh. Lazy Eye. We are in the end times, there is no time to talk about love. If you like her, just say it directly, don't waste time. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, forget it. I don't believe that you can't see through this with your wisdom. Sit down. Duan Lei stretched out his hand and pressed down. I see it clearly. But this is not as simple as you think. Get out. Just tell me whether you like Sister Shen or not. Wang Feng stood up directly. If you say you don't like it, I will go and tell Lao Lu and the others directly, but they have many people eyeing Sister Shen. Who dares? Duan Lei was furious. He slammed the table and stood up. Why didn't you say it earlier? Wang Feng said, and then ran out. Oh my god. Where the hell are you going? Come back. Duan Lei chased to the door, but Wang Feng was gone at this time. Damn it, Duan Lei returned to the club dejectedly, his head covered with cold sweat. This idiot didn't go directly to pull Sister Shen, right? If so, I'll be embarrassed. Xiao Lei, I don't know how long it took, because Duan Lei's heart was always in a mess, so he didn't pay attention to the time at all. When Wang Feng called him, he turned his head to look at the door of the club. Then, Duan Lei's originally pale face turned pale. Wang Feng was standing at the door, and there was a woman behind him, Shen Yishan. Xiao Lei. I brought the person here. It's up to you how you say it, Wang Feng said, and he took Shen Yishan's hand and entered the club. He came directly to Duan Lei, then turned back to Shen Yishan and said. Sister Shen. Wang Feng, won't beat around the bush. If I have something to say, I'll just say it. My Liza likes you, but he's shy and doesn't dare to say it. I'm going to make it clear for him now. If you like him, accept it. If you don't like him, give him a slap in the face. Anyway, I don't care about what happens next. See you tomorrow. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Feng let go of Shen Yishan's hand and disappeared in the blink of an eye, leaving Duan Lei and Shen Yishan staring at each other in the club. Hey, Sister Shen, you, don't listen to the crazy talk, Duan Lei said hesitantly. What do you mean? Don't you mean that at all? To Duan Lei's surprise, Shen Yishan asked with wide eyes. Haha, Shen Yishan suddenly laughed. I just want to see if our always wise Duan Lei will be blinded by love. Sister Shen. Is that really what you mean? Duan Lei looked at Shen Yishan seriously. Xiao Lei. Are you serious? Shen Yishan's expression also began to become serious. Yes, Duan Lei's expression was unexpectedly serious. Silly, Shen Yishan came directly to Duan Lei and gave him a kiss. After a long time, their lips parted. Shen Yishan looked at Duan Lei with watery eyes. I think I am a few years older than you, so I dare not speak. What are you worried about? Not now, Duan Lei smiled foolishly, and then hugged Shen Yishan in his arms. I am a little uncomfortable with this scene, but this feeling is really good. Haha. Do you want something better? Shen Yishan looked at Duan Lei with temptation in her eyes. Come. Wang Feng came to the door, looked up at the starry sky, sighed softly, and then stepped forward. wanting to go to the central square to see the willow tree. At this moment, a white light swept directly from the club and fell into his arms. Wang Feng did not dodge, but reached out to catch the figure. This white light is naturally Rura. Since this little white cat became Zhang Xiu's guard, it has not seen Wang Feng for a long time. Now that it is finally free, it will naturally not let him go easily. Okay, okay. You'll be by my side from now on. You'll have meat to eat. Wang Feng stroked Rura's back and said softly, "You little guy, have you reached the standard of a second-level creature?" Hearing Wang Feng's words, Rura licked Wang Feng's right cheek proudly and meowed twice with some pride, as if answering Wang Feng. In fact, when it just pounced, Wang Feng already knew that Rura had just broken through the standard of a second-level creature. However, Wang Feng would naturally not discourage Rura, at least he would not say that he had killed a lot of third-level creatures, but Rura should be very smart, and he should know from seeing those corpses that Wang Feng seemed to have killed a lot of third-level creatures. So, now Rura also knows that his ability is limited, but he can pretend to be stupid and pretend that he doesn't know that Wang Feng has killed a lot of third-level creatures. Anyway, with Wang Feng here, he can always eat meat. Just when Wang Feng was comforting Rura, a figure broke into the club directly. He stopped in front of Wang Feng, and when he saw Wang Feng, the intruder knelt down and cried, "Brother Feng, please save Xiao Wu." "Xiao Wen?" Wang Feng asked curiously, "Hurry up and get up." "What did you say?" "Xiao Wu. Did you see him?" To be honest, Xiao Wu has always been a thorn in Wang Feng's side. In order to save Xiao Wu, he followed Tiankai's advice and gave Xiao Wu a violent potion that neither he nor Tiankai knew what the consequences would be. Later, when he returned to the place where Xiao Wu was hiding, he saw a bloody scene. Xiao Wu had disappeared. This was always an unsolvable knot in Wang Feng's heart. Now that he heard that Xiao Wu had news, Wang Feng naturally became excited and hurriedly asked Chen Shaoan. I didn't follow your orders." Speaking of the details, Chen Shaoan didn't dare to speak. Although he is now a real evolver, he still feels that he is much shorter in front of Wang Feng. Stop talking nonsense. Just say it." Wang Feng was furious. "Yes," Chen Shaoan stood at attention and then spoke eloquently. "We didn't listen to your advice. Recently, I have been leading the team to the opposite side of the Black Dragon Bridge because I want to find Xiao Wu." Chen Shaoan seemed to have given it his all, and his speech became much clearer. "We found 4 camps and 3 groups of corpses, but we didn't touch those groups of corpses. In a small town, we found a rather strange scene." Chen Shaoan raised his hand, dragging a pendant on his hand. "This is Xiao Wu's, he shouldn't abandon it, because this is handed to us by our mother, and each of us has one." Looking at the pendant Xiaoan was holding, Wang Feng frowned, took the pendant, and then looked at it in front of his eyes. "Is this Xiao Wu's?" "No, wrong. I'm sure it's his," Chen Shaoan said firmly. "Brother Feng, I know the base needs manpower now. I don't want anyone. I just need to go by myself. I must find Xiao Wu and come back." Wang Feng looked at the pendant in his hand carefully, and then threw it to Chen Shaoan. "Take it. Find it tomorrow. Let's go together. Let me rest for a night first. I haven't slept for several months, I feel exhausted." Chen Shaoan was stunned, and then his eyes became moist. "Brother Feng, you go with me?" "Nonsense. Get out. Go back to sleep. Let's go together tomorrow," Wang Feng said lazily, then turned and walked upstairs. Passing by Lu Wanting's room, Wang Feng hesitated for a moment, but finally did not disturb Lu Wanting. The most important thing was that there was another Zhang Xiu in her room. Wang Feng was a little afraid of this crazy girl who had no taboos in her mouth, so he simply went back to his room and fell asleep. He slept all day and night. After the start of Hell Week, he had not slept in bed, and he had not even rested. Even though he was an evolver, and a second-level evolver, his physical strength had reached the edge of collapse after nearly 2 months of sleepless nights. What Wang Feng didn't know was that he slept for 2 days and 2 nights, and even when Chen Shaoan came to find him, he was stopped outside by Duan Lei. Duan Lei's reason was simple. Xiao Wu had disappeared for so long, no matter how important it was, he could not interrupt Wang Feng's sleep. No one could do that. Even if the instructor came, Duan Lei would not give way. After Wang Feng woke up, he opened the door and saw Duan Lei's back. He couldn't help but smile warmly. Yes, when you need it most, your comrades will always be your support. Liza, Wang Feng called softly, rubbing his cheeks with his hands. I woke up, is there something wrong? You have a lot of things. But I think it's best if you can solve Xiao Wu's problem first. Duan Lei turned around and looked at Wang Feng, his face full of solemn expression. Xiao Wu. By the way, he seems to have news, let me go and see. Wang Feng was stunned and then immediately ran downstairs, only nodding to Lu Wanting who was waiting on the side, and didn't even say a word. Duan Lei was stunned, and Lu Feng and Lu Jiang behind him were also stunned. Then Lu Feng smiled bitterly, I seem to know now why so many people are willing to work for him. Chen Shaoan said unceremoniously, of course. Because he is Brother Feng. After saying this, Chen Shaoan chased Wang Feng and ran downstairs. Looking at Lu Jiang, Lu Feng nodded, I will follow you this time. What about you? I will follow your instructions. If you let me go, I will go. If you don't let me go, I will stay. Lu Jiang smiled honestly. Old Lu. You are just too honest. Otherwise, you should be more than what you are now. Lu Feng couldn't help but complain. There is nothing wrong with being honest. At least, I am still alive now. Lu Jiang smiled and answered heartlessly.